Hi guys, so welcome to the chart review for this week. Let's quickly just dive into the chart reviews. Okay, so the first stock, UEMS. This one is a property and construction counter. I think the rise in share price was quite affiliated with the budget announcement, but I think on Friday it didn't really do well. I don't think there's much, like really a lot of budget for the construction sector lah. Okay, especially the HSR. So actually, if you look at the hourly chart, morning it was like on the rise. Okay, if you look at here, morning it was like on the rise, and then at this candle you can see that it's kind of like rejected lah. Okay, and if you follow on chart wise, it's kind of like forming a double top over here on the 1 hourly chart, and then subsequently it came down quite badly in the afternoon. Okay, so there is a possibility there was already like kind of news about the budget before it was announced, so that may explain the huge candle coming down lah. Okay, this was quite a good base, but failed to break out lah. Okay, so for UEMS I think the support and resistance still stays the same. Okay, these two support and resistance still stays the same. It's currently sideways, but you will need to see how the market digests the budget next week lah. Okay, to know whether it's going to go up or down. Okay, but looking at the candle doesn't look so good already lah. Okay, this long wick candle. Okay, next is Sun Surya. This one is also a real estate. It's a very long wick candle with actually no body, kind of like a doji lah. Okay, kind of met with double top resistance over here at 0.56. It may consider to do a pullback first before attempting to re-challenge the resistance again lah. Okay, maybe this pull down wasn't that good, but you need to take note that the stock is currently forming lower highs. Okay, already forming lower high. If let's say it's not able to break out from here and continue going higher, then this will be the first lower high it forms up. Okay, then if it continues going lower, then it will be something like this. Okay, because it will move in waves lah. Okay, so support and resistance I think still remains the same, not much of change for Sun Surya. Okay, next is TEOSENG. I think someone requested for all the big stocks available. I think one more stock is CCK. I think I doubled it. Just a moment. We will just add it in later. So TEOSENG is also in one of my case studies. Actually, you guys can also watch it over from there. Otherwise, if I will just repeat it over here lah. I actually found this stock quite interesting on the second of this thing. That means I actually found it was quite interesting here, because you can see that the volume here is high, then consolidate for a long time, and then suddenly the volume started coming up here again. Okay, the volume here is about 2.2 million, and here is about 2.8 million lah. Okay, and then it's kind of like attempting to break out from the resistance of 1.12, and then subsequently you see on the following days the volume is actually very high lah. Okay, and then it's like building another base over here. So you can see other than the long big candles, all the following candles have been of small volume, and then here is attempting to go higher lah. So you see the volume has come in again. I think among all the 8 counters, TEOSENG can be considered as the best lah. Consider TEOSENG, LAYHONG and CCK. LAYHONG is only 8 products if I'm not wrong, and CCK is actually, if I'm not wrong, is kind of like a grocery kind of shop of a supermarket, which is majorly based in Sarawak side if I'm not wrong. Okay, I'm not so sure on their fundamentals, but chart wise I think TEOSENG is much better lah. Okay, and then you have LAYHONG. LAYHONG, actually if you really look back, even historical price is always about here one lah. Okay, it's not the sky high kind of flying stock or stuff like that lah. Okay, I don't think there's much impact on the stock lah for the 8 news. It looks about there only lah. Okay, you can see that it's actually kind of sideways lah from here if you look at it. Okay, it's actually sideways here for quite some time already lah. And then the news, it's quite different with TEOSENG. Okay, so I don't LAYHONG, this is a support and resistance lah. Doesn't look interesting lah for me. Okay, Then CCK, oh there is, I actually have CCK, let me just group it up together. Okay, so CCK is also not as interesting as TEOSENG, but CCK is not like really focused on egg only lah. Okay, like I said, if I'm not wrong, it's kind of like a supermarket, and TradingView detects it as a retail trade, full retail lah. So most probably it's a supermarket lah. Okay, so if you look at CCK, this one is a huge resistance level lah. You can see every time it comes here, it fails. It has never had a body inside this resistance zone. Subsequently came down, touched back the 50 days moving average, now attempting to break out again, now attempting to go higher again. You can see the volume has kind of dried down now. So if you want to compare charts, TEOSENG is the best, then comes down to CCK, and the last is LAYHONG. Okay, why? Because I think LAYHONG is still sideways. There's still no push, no momentum. Okay, maybe there are no funds coming in lah for LAYHONG. That's why like not much of movement for LAYHONG. Okay, so for the CCK is this, and the support resistance is already portrayed in the chart lah. I think somebody asked this review before. Okay, so next is MRCB. MRCB is also construction related. I think MRCB was linked to HSR or LRT. I can't really remember. But as just like all the other counters, I think the news there whereby there's not much construction wasn't that nice for the property and construction counters, so kind of came back down now. Again, if you look at the 1 hourly chart, over in the morning it was doing well. Okay, it was actually doing well. It was going up until almost 50 cents already, which is the previous most recent high that it formed lah. Okay, before that it was like 515. Then it became 50 cents. Then after that, now it's already forming like a lower high lah, 495. Okay, so I think the news from the budget wasn't so friendly, and that's why you see a red candle over here lah. Okay, no change in the support and resistance. I think support and resistance is still same lah. Okay, next is EKOVEST, same also. Property and construction counter. Again, if you look at the chart, in the morning it looks all good until about 10:30. Okay, then you see the 11:30 candle is starting to turn red lah. Okay, and same 2:30 candle, it was kind of a big red lah. Basically, most of the construction stocks kind of U-turn lah. Okay, but if you look at EKOVEST compared to MRCB, even in the hourly chart, MRCB looks quite close to re-challenging the resistance, whereas EKOVEST is actually quite far lah. Okay, this is just on the chart wise. So I'm not saying which is good, which is bad lah. You will know which is good, which is bad next week. When they actually when you actually look at the market, then you will know what investors, what the funds actually think about the budget and how they will react. Okay, if it's good, you will most likely see the market doing well lah. Okay, and if it's bad, of course, you won't see the market doing well lah. Okay, so you will know what is the reaction next week lah. Okay, so the next one is ADB. I think this one I heard related to the e-invoice thing lah. Okay, so as usual, price move earlier than the fundamentals itself. So you can see ADB already broke out initially on Monday itself, and then kind of went sideways and stuff like that. So during the pullback days, volume has been considerably low lah. Okay, it's kind of forming a support at 70 cents over here. Okay, you can see that it has touched twice lah, kind of forming a support over here. But if let's say auto count is involved in the e-invoice, and since it's going to become mandatory, I think for all companies which earn more than 100 million a year or something like that, then most likely auto count will benefit from it lah. Okay, and what I mean by benefit is maybe the financial will look even better lah. Okay, so we'll need to see. But chart wise, actually auto count has been quite nice, has been forming higher lows along the way, and then recently just broke out lah. You can also consider this as like a rounding bottom for it. Okay, kind of rounded from here until here, then did a small cup and then break out lah. Okay, consider quite nice lah the chart. Okay, and the support and resistance kind of stays the same. I don't think I have changed much, except there is a new support over here at 70 cents lah. Okay, next is IJM, another construction counter. Of course, if you look at all the construction counters, IJM look good lah. Okay, it kind of looks more like it didn't really come down. If you compare IJM with all those like EKOVEST and MRCB construction counters lah, IWCITY, I think IJM is quite solid lah. Okay, I think it's also one of the long companies. Share hold is also quite huge lah, 2.41 billion. However, it's still impacted by the budget lah. Okay, basically the entire sector is impacted. So IJM kind of moved earlier, I guess. It gapped up over here. Okay, gap up and then came back down. So about 11:30 again, the candle started becoming red, and it didn't really manage to break out lah. The body actually closed below the 52-week high level. Okay, 52-week high is about 1.92 lah. Okay, you can see that there is some resistance over here also. Okay. So construction counter, again, you will have to see what happens next week, whether the market is okay with the budget or not. Okay. So next, LAYHONG LHI. There is a huge volume coming in on Thursday itself. That was actually the breakout candle. So this was the previous resistance, and your support is here lah. Okay, pretty obvious this one. So actually, if you look at this will look something like this. It's a mini kind of cup and handle lah. Okay, it looks quite good for me. The stock may come back to retest the resistance lah. I mean, it depends. If it does, and if let's say it's a bear market, usually it does lah. Okay, it come up like this and then you'll hit lah. Okay, so just a tip. Usually bear markets, there are more stocks that come back to test the resistance before they go higher, compared to when there's a bull market. Okay, when there's a bull market, there are always chances that they don't come down to test the resistance again, and they just continue going higher. Okay, but when there's a bear market, most likely it will actually come down lah. Okay, currently I wouldn't say it's complete bear. It's kind of like a volatile state lah. Okay, so this is your previous resistance, this is your support, and of course your next resistance will be somewhere up here lah. Okay, 0.61 level. Okay, next, SCGBHD. I think this one quite a lot of people are talking about it. Chart wise, I think it looks quite good. Volume has been actually very dry over here. Let's look at the past data. Okay lah, looks not bad. Volume has been quite dry. Then after that, now the volume came in on Tuesday lah, 3rd October. And then it's kind of forming some support over at 0.355, which was the previous resistance level lah. Okay. Then you can see that the down day candles are actually pretty low volume. This one quite big candle size, but volume quite low lah. Okay. So it will be quite interesting if it actually breaks out lor. Okay, this one not sure why lah, but you can see there's quite a lot of resistance over here. Okay, you can see there's quite a lot of resistance over here. Every time it tries to break out from here, it closes below it lah. So you know that there's a lot of resistance over here. On Friday, the attempt to break out was actually quite weak lah. Okay, the volume is not high, so you need to see whether next week it wants to pull back or to just break out lah. Okay. Next is SUNVIEW. So SUNVIEW, I think renewable energy counter, I think only SolarVest is very nice lah. Okay. Of course, on Thursday, SUNVIEW had quite a good breakout, because actually if you look at it, this is the breakout point lah. Okay, 0.765 to 0.74. Sorry, 0.765 is the breakout and 0.74 is the support level lah. Okay, it's actually quite a good breakout over here lah. Okay, so it broke out and then come up to here, but yes, quite a long way before turning uptrend again lah. Okay, anyhow, it's still going down. It's still on a downtrend, and actually if you look at it like this, it'll be hard to draw lah. Yeah, it'll be something like this lah. Okay, it's like another downtrend lah. Okay, so I think it's quite far from becoming bullish again, but of course there are signs that it has bottom lah. Okay, if it's able to break out from this 0.845, then it will start turning into more like an uptrend lah, because it will start forming higher high and higher lows on the right side. So it may, it may have signal like it has found bottom, but I think it's still some part away. However, you need to remember that SUNVIEW is a low float shares counter. There's only 199 million, about 200 million shares float. Okay, so it's easier to go up and down lah, okay, compared to all the others. DPHARMA, I also included this inside one of my case studies because I find it quite interesting. The volume is pretty similar to BIMB. Okay, if you check, for the person who requested DPHARMA, you can check my case study video. I actually mentioned about DPHARMA similarity to BIMB's chart, and you can learn a bit more from there lah. Okay, there's more information over there. Otherwise, the resistance is at this level, 1.29. Then the previous resistance may turn into a support, which is at 1.24. And of course, the previous support is 1.18 lah. See whether it's able to form a new support or not. Okay. Okay, SAMCHEM. This was a very good support lah, 0.51. But somehow it has broken down. Okay, it doesn't look very good. The breakdown here also, you can see every day is like red. Okay. Currently it seems like it's forming lower highs lah. Okay. Okay. Weekly chart looks a bit more obvious. You can see like you can see something like this lah. Okay, like this, then maybe like this lah. Okay, maybe. So SAMCHEM's chart doesn't look that good lah, to be honest. And then you can see that this volume here is quite high. Looks like half lah. This volume, half of it is selling, half of it is buying. But the support level at 0.51, if it turns into a resistance, will be quite tough to break out. Okay, because you have a look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 times it hit as a support, and then it broke down. That means for 13 times there was so much of demand here that the stock did not manage to break down, and it finally did. So there will be a lot of supply over here now. Okay, so it may find some difficulty breaking through the 0.51 level lah. Okay, other than that, I think the stock is a bit sad to see the stock so bad now. Okay, it was quite a good stock lah. I mean fundamentally lah. Yeah. Okay, but yeah, that's about SAMCHEM lah. I don't think I can identify a new support because it's already reached a kind of like a 52-week low, more like what, a 3-year low lah. Okay, you will need to give time to the stock to find new base, new support before it attempts to come back one. Okay. Okay, TECHBND, another 500 float share stock. Okay, so looking at this one, here a bit difficult to look based on the data because you see there's actually not much volume now. Okay, this stock, I remember the fundamentals for this stock is actually quite good, not bad. Okay, but I don't know what happened along the way, and it doesn't look like the fundamentals are so strong lah if the share price can be so low. Okay, it's kind of attempting to go higher lah. Okay, you can see from this volume. Okay, the buying days volume are high, but you also need to take note that so high volume, about 7.3 million, but it's forming a doji. Okay, so for this candle, you just imagine something like this. In the morning it went up, and then maybe it came down lah, whatever it is, but it went up, then it came back down, and it closed at open. So what does it tell you? It tells you that there is almost an equilibrium amount of sellers and buyers in the market at that candle itself. Okay, the doji candle is actually quite uncertain lah for this thing. Okay, it's like It's like, you know, you open, then you go up, okay, then you come back down. So it's like you have quite a lot of sellers as well lah, despite the buying volume. So even though it closed green, it has to close green because your candle is still green. You know, candles open green, but it doesn't really justify lah what's happening behind the candle. Okay. So then you have this, you know, high volume. Then volume is starting to come down lah. Okay. While volume is going down and the candle prices are going down, I mean it's a good thing, but you need to monitor and see lah. Okay. There are many ways to look at it. This one is like, you know, forming higher lows while the volume is reducing. So you need to monitor. I don't think there is much you can do. The support and resistance for the counter are all as stated over here lah. So you need to have a look lah. Okay. Oh yeah. HSSEB K. Okay. So this was a very nice consolidation area. Okay, I think the stock is quite strong. Wait, let me have a look. Yeah, somehow I think also budget related lah. Okay, you can see the candle kind of formed like a wick already in the morning, and then after that 2:30 drop lah. Okay, maybe attributed to the budget. Maybe there's not so much budget on engineering and construction, so it came back down. Other than that, actually this candle was a very strong candle. But for all construction sectors, you need to be aware that the rally may have been stimulated because of the anticipation of the budget. Okay, it may have lah, but you know, at the end of the day, if budget didn't materialize, then it will drop lah. For example, if MSC, you know, it's anticipation that GST will come back, but it didn't. Okay, so I think it's kind of back to about its original price. There are many speculations lah. Okay, near to budget. Okay, because if let's say you're right, then you earn. So there are a lot of speculations. I'm not saying that HSSEB is a speculative counter. Okay, but usually when you have a speculation that, you know, a news may benefit the company, then most likely you would have had some buying interest lah. Okay, so this candle is an undecisive candle. You can see that the high and low, the wicks above and below are quite similar lah to each other. So there is a bit of uncertainty over here. You need to see lah whether, you know, it comes down, builds a base before going higher or not. Okay. As for now, the support and resistance is as displayed in the chart. The next resistance will be somewhere here, 1.03 lah. Okay, but I don't think it's that valid because it's been too long ago lah. Okay. Okay, SCNWOLF. This counter a bit barcode lah, not so bad, but quite barcode. Some days they are high volume, some days there's literally no volume at all. Let's just draw a support and resistance. This will be the previous resistance, and then there's a gap up, so most likely this will be a support. And then we look at here, 455 is the previous support lah. Okay. And then your resistance level definitely about here lah. Okay, tallies with the previous levels also. Okay, if you want to look at moving average wise, I think the 50 days is coming up, it's turning up, so maybe may turn bullish lah. Okay, but yeah, consider forming lower highs and lower lows lah. Okay, because if you look at here, also forming lower, then look at here, also forming lower. Can we consider the technical rebound also lah. Okay. Okay, next MBSB. Bank. This is the first support, and then I think form another support here. This one definitely a resistance, and then another resistance. Okay, If you look at the moving averages trend, it's considered in an uptrend because 50 days is above 150 and 150 is above the 200. If we look at the support and resistance, it looks not bad. Okay, there is not much price movement in the stock. Okay, it's not like, you know, the kind that will fly a lot. There's about 2.6 billion shares float, so you will take quite a lot of funds to actually move the stock higher lah. Okay, so currently met with some resistance at about 0.79, needs to move higher lah. Okay, other than that, you need to wait and see what happens to the stock lah. Okay, I think because it has been consolidating for an extremely long time, this was the previous resistance level, 0.77. Seems to have broken up, but doesn't seem good after the breakout lah. Breakout already, then come back down. Okay, so currently it's kind of playing with the 50 days moving average. Okay, need to monitor the support and resistance yourself. Okay. Someone requested Baba. I don't know the Hong Kong one or the US one, so I will just include both lah. Okay. This one I think is this is the US one. Okay. It doesn't look that good. Okay. What I don't really like about the chart is there are a lot of gaps in the chart. Okay, there's really a lot of gaps. It's like every day there's a gap up or gap down. And the candles appear like quite small like that lah. Okay, so when you have a look at the weekly chart. Okay. So if we look at it on the weekly chart, this one looks to be coming down, not so good. This one doesn't really look like a triangle also lah, but this one is a higher low lah if it stops down here. Okay. Chart wise, I don't think it's that good on the US side. 200 days is above 50 and above the 150, and 50 days is going downwards lah. Okay, it doesn't look that good. I don't know how is Hong Kong's economy status, but I think it's not that good. Here also kind of forming lower highs. Here is attempting to go higher lah, so that's why I thought maybe it's a triangle lah. Okay, but I think other than that, if you look at it on a broader scope, it looks kind of sideways consolidating into a smaller pattern. Okay, because previously it's like this big. Okay, now it's like smaller. Okay, the wave is smaller. I think it will need quite a lot of time before we can find like a definite trend for the stock lah. Currently, I don't really see much of a trend lah. Okay, but recent days candle don't look that good. This candle is quite bad lah, long red candle. Okay, and then on Friday also want to go up but cannot go up already. Okay, Hong Kong one, I think pretty similar lah. Also something like this only. Okay, also similar lah. Okay, previous there are big volatility, you know, big ones, then kind of going smaller. But this one also look quite sideways lah. Okay, if you look at it, just that formation is getting smaller lah within a small range. Okay. Wow, Tencent is only 300 now. I think it used to be about 700. Yeah. Crazy. Tencent's trend is quite straightforward lah. If you draw one line, you would directly see its downtrend lah. Doesn't look good. The 50 days is below 150, 150 also below 200 lah. It really doesn't look good. Even this one also, you'll see it's kind of like a exact channel like that. Okay. Your support and resistance will be about here. This is your support lah. If it breaks down, then you will be forming lower lows again lah. And your resistance is here lah, quite far from where the stock price currently is up. So I think Hong Kong market also not doing well lah. I think based on the index also, past 2 days is red candle. Okay. SAMAIDEN, another RE counter. Again, I don't think there's any RE counter stronger than SolarVest for now. Most of them have formed a new low, and now it's only coming up back. Compared to SolarVest, already formed low and forming higher lows now. So if you ask me personally, I think SOLARVEST may be the leader for RE, because it's already forming a higher low, a better base. Okay, I don't know whether SOLARVEST is in the list or not, but for the one who requested SAMAIDEN, I'll share with you SOLARVEST lah. Okay, let's just share 3 main counters. I don't include SIPAC. SAMAIDEN, and you have SUNVIEW. Okay, so actually, if you really look at it, and I mean, if you study the books about the market and stuff, you will notice that a lot of people mention leaders tend to bottom before the index, and they start forming higher lows when the index bottoms. Okay, so when the index bottoms and kind of rallies, all these leaders already start forming higher low, higher high. If we compare the SAMAIDEN chart, SUNVIEW chart, and also the SOLARVEST chart, you will see what I'm trying to say. Okay, so you see SOLARVEST reach high here in August, okay, and then it formed a low on September 5th. Okay, so that was like its low already, about 1.2 zone lah, and then it formed base at about these days, 11 to 15. Okay, so this was already the low. But if you look at SAMAIDEN and SUNVIEW, okay, all these days they are still forming lower lows. Okay, they are going lower. Then now when SOLARVEST climbs, okay, SOLARVEST climbs and reaches here, they have climbed halfway only. Okay, when on this day SOLARVEST already broke the previous low, previous resistance of 1.35. This one SOLARVEST already reached 1.36. But if you look at SAMAIDEN and SUNVIEW, they haven't reached their resistance. Okay, and then followed by it forms another higher base over here, which is when I felt it was a very good case study. When it's forming a higher low, SAMAIDEN and SUNVIEW is forming a lower low. Okay, and then last week it was kind of challenging with a 1.36 level to break out, while SUNVIEW and SAMAIDEN is trying to break out from the low, which is why I tend to believe that most likely SOLARVEST is the leader lah. Okay, based on my own assumption and what I've learned so far. Okay, so for SAMAIDEN's chart, support and resistance stays the same, but I think it's a bit far from what it used to be lah. Okay, I think you can change the trend line to this. It's quite accurate, this one. Okay, and unless it can break out from the trend line, I don't think it's a bullish trend yet lah. Okay, SFPTECH, I don't think it's looking good lah. It's currently resting on the 200 days moving average, and if it's not able to hold, then it should go much lower lah. 200 days moving average is often assumed as the long-term and moving average. That means if they will say something like, if let's say you have you want to hold it for long term, then look at the 200 days moving average. That's what they say lah. Okay, so looking at this one, it's already touching already lah. Okay, you will need to see what happens to the stock later lah. In terms of support and resistance, I think the support is at 0.905, while the resistance will be something, the first one will be here lah. Okay, here 0.975, quite obvious also, and then the second one will be here lah, 1.04. Okay, so we'll need to see where the market decides to bring it to lah. Okay, next is AGMO. AGMO, I don't think there's anything much for me to review. It's kind of still in the sideways. There isn't really like a trend form here lah. Okay, you can see, it breaks out over here up, then come back down, like not really moving much lah. Okay, so kind of support and resistance stays the same lah. This is the support level and this is the resistance level. Okay, unless one of them break, you don't really have a trend to look at lah. Okay, next is PESTECH. I think recently PESTECH had quite a rally lah. I think PESTECH got quite a lot of issues in terms of management and also business. Didn't seem very good, I think, the news, but I didn't really follow it. So it managed to break out from the resistance of about 0.3 to 0.325, and currently it's climbing higher lah, okay, which is a good thing. So 50 days moving average already go above the 200 and 150. Next is to wait for the 150 to cross above lah, okay. I think your next resistance will be here, this level, and the following one will be here, okay, 0.4 and 0.6. I don't really see a strong support, okay. It's not like, you know, the previous ones. It may form a support at the previous resistance of 0.365 or 0.36 before it attempts to climb higher lah, it may, okay. Other than that, we just have to wait and see lah where the stock decides to bring itself to, okay. Okay, IWCITY, same as EKOVEST, same as MRCB, same as IGM. Property and construction counter, affected by budget lah, okay. There's nothing much for me to review or comment until you wait for next week's market reaction. If next week's reaction is good, that means the budget is well accepted, but I think there were not much funds for construction counters lah, okay. So we'll need to see what the funds and investors actually think about it, okay. So there are no changes. The support and resistance still stays the same, okay. Maybe just form a lower high over here at about 0.78. AWANTEC, okay. This huge gap down over here was caused by something about the delisting news, okay. It was caused by that, but currently it's like, you know, slowly going higher back lah, okay. Your resistance should be about here, 0.285, which the stock managed to close above. Latest support should be about here lah, okay, 0.22, and your next resistance is actually 0.39. Reason being, there's actually no trade done over here due to the gap down, so that it shouldn't be much sellers lah, okay. But I mean, anyone can sell and buy at any time lah. This is just a PA analysis, okay. So your next resistance will be quite far, and the current resistance is about 0.285 lah. Volume looks quite encouraging as well, seems quite strong, okay. Next, success. Okay, I think I reviewed success before. There was quite a lot of resistance over at 0.73 level. Currently, it has managed to break above the 0.73 level, and it's seemingly trying to make 0.73 as a new support level, okay, which is a good thing lah. You know, stocks break out, then they form higher bases, higher lows and higher highs, okay, which is a very good thing. So if this breakout is a real breakout, then your next resistance that you will most likely see will be about here lah, 0.785. Okay, you can see it's quite a prominent or significant resistance, and then the support may turn into 0.73 lah, okay. The resistance may turn into a new support, okay. Okay, next is MYNEWS. Okay, for MYNEWS, you can see that it's actually closed the gap and come back down, okay. So this is theoretically what always happens lah. A lot of stocks, they go for gap down. I think I mentioned this in previous videos as well. If there's like a gap, you know, it was trading here, the gap down, most of the time it comes back up, it will come down, it will close the gap, okay. And if let's say it was like down, then you gap up, it will come back down, close the gap, and go back up, okay. Most of the time that's what happens to stocks lah, okay. So I think we closed the gap, and subsequently not much trading done lah, okay. These 2 days basically no trade, no change in the price also. So currently I think the support and resistance kind of stays, okay. The support will be at about 0.535. This resistance may turn into a new support lah, okay. And your resistance may be the gap at 0.57, because you can see most of the days it didn't really close confidently lah above the gap, the level. Okay, this is actually quite a strong resistance because you see it touched 3 times in quick succession. Okay, so need to monitor and see where the direction of the stock goes lah after this. Okay, OPENSYS. Okay, number one, I think it's still in sideways. I don't think there is a confirmed uptrend or downtrend for the stock. Okay, there isn't like much changes. It's met with some resistance over here at 0.38. Quite expected lah. Okay, 1, 2 over here. Okay, but then it gap up and close rate like this is not a good candle lah. Okay, and you look at the volume is extremely high. We look at the 1 hourly chart. The extreme volume only came in the first hour. Okay, and if you look at the 15-minute chart, it also came during the gap up only. Even if you look at the 1-minute chart, it gap up and it immediately turned red, and that was the day lah. Finish already close. So I don't think there's much to see on OPENSYS. The support and resistance stays the same lah. Okay, nothing much lah. PMBTECH. Someone requested for PMBTECH. I haven't seen a request for this stock in like, I don't know how, 1 or 2 years. Okay, PMBTECH was deemed as one of the best stocks by many people. I think there were some seafoods which came out and mentioned that it's really good and stuff. I'm not mentioning names. I only read about it lah. Okay, and I'm not saying that person is right or wrong. It depends on that time lah. Okay, but okay, putting that aside, it used to be a very strong stock because I think of the news on silicon, about the possibility of silicon related with electric vehicle batteries. Okay, so there was a huge demand in the silicon sector at that point of time, which actually boosted up the demand for PMBTECH lah. Okay, because PMBTECH is one of the main silicon suppliers, and like kind of it will do well lah. And I think the quarter report also justified it. It was really good lah, the quarter report. The earnings were like multiple times better. And yeah, so I didn't really follow what happened with it. I think maybe silicon prices has dropped or something like that. But the stock doesn't seem to be doing that well lah. Okay, it has already broken below all the moving averages, all the key moving averages, and it's now trading at about 3 ringgit. Okay, so if we look at it on a long-term scale, okay, it does look like distribution has already happened lah. Okay, have a look at this. You need to remember that usually most stocks they rally with 3 higher bases. Okay, before they actually say goodbye lah. Okay, so the first base will be the one that breaks out. Okay, so it kind of broke out from here lah. This is the first one. Okay, and then subsequently this is the second one, and this is a very obvious third one. And then when you reach here, you kind of consolidated. I don't really know whether I want to consider this as a fourth one or not, because I think it touched on the same base level. But if let's say this is a fourth one, it went up higher. Okay, and then it's consolidating here. Most of the time after the third one is already quite dangerous. Fourth and fifth is quite, you need to be a bit careful. Fourth and fifth, 6 and 7 is usually quite prone to failure lah. Okay, so this is one, and then this is another one. Then it kind of managed to break out for a while, and then it came back down already lah. Okay, long story short, let's just go to the current one. If you actually see, volume hasn't been there for a very long time. Most of the days volume is like less than 1 million. Very low. However, on this day, volume is about 10.7 million. I don't know what on earth happened that there's so much of volume selling, and the selling volume continued up to the next day. Okay, which is not something good lah. Okay, they attempted to rebound. Okay, look at here. High volume, red candle. Next day attempted to rebound, but you look at the volume, very low only compared to the previous days. Okay, which is not a good sign lah. Means there's actually not much demand anymore despite the heavy sell down. Okay, so at the moment, I don't think PMBTECH looks good. It looks like but I do think the selling is overdone lah. Like too rapid. Okay, but I really don't know the fundamentals of the company at the moment. Usually, if let's say there is such a high selling volume, there is something affected with the fundamentals. Okay, but I didn't follow, so I'm not so sure what is happening. Okay, but it's already formed a new low. You see, it's forming lower lows, so it's forming going lower and lower lah, which is not a good sign to see. Okay, so I don't really see a support level for PMBTECH unless it starts forming one itself. Okay, I think previously a lot of people assume that about 3.02 to 3.03 or 3.04 is about the support level, but currently the support already broken lah. Okay, and it's hovering below it now. So we have to wait and see where the stock wants to end up forming a base at. Okay. Your next resistance should be about here lah, the previous support level 3.61, but the support, it may come back to 2.6 and retest this level again lah. Okay, this previous support level. Otherwise, then the last support level that you previously rebounded from will be 2.41. Okay. Okay, SDS. Had a very huge sell down, currently quite bearish lah. Okay, it's below all the 3 key moving averages, the 50 days, 150 days, and also 200 days. Okay, but currently it seems to be forming a higher low compared to previously keep forming lower lows and lower highs. Form a higher low already, but hasn't formed a higher high yet. Okay, so need to wait and see where the stock decides to bring. So this is your new support level, 0.58, and then this is your resistance level, 0.62. Okay, of course you can also decide to just go sideways first. We will need to see where the stock brings lah. Okay, but it seems like it's really attempting to break the resistance level at 0.62. Okay. Okay, RENEUCO. Previously I saw like maybe there's going to be a rounding bottom over here, but of course it didn't materialize. It came up to here, stopped, then continued going lower lah. Okay, if you look at the candle on Friday, it's directly telling you it's not good because there is a huge selling coming in and pushing the stock price down lah. Okay, currently it's at 0.195, which is actually very near to its 52-week low already. Okay. It's kind of like gone are the days where it's like K-Power is like 2 ringgit something, 3 ringgit something, kind of golden times lah. Bursa's delivered stock, I think, that time. Yeah, 290. Okay, kind of gone lah those days. So currently it's a really penny counter, and selling volume on Friday did not help it at all lah. Okay. So currently your new support will be at 0.19, and if that breaks, then you will form a new 52-week low, which is actually a bearish thing. Okay. Okay, PTRB. I think news from China side may take more. PTRB stock didn't really materialize lah. It actually had more supplies being sold to China. It did penetrate into the market, but unfortunately I think the profit didn't really reflect like it's very good lah. Okay, so you can see that there's some resistance over here. It got rejected, then came back down. Currently it's hovering around with a support of about 0.46. Okay, and it's kind of sideways now lah. It's not really moving anywhere. It's kind of just sideways like this only. Okay. So I think the support and resistance doesn't change from the previous one. Okay, the support is still here and the resistance, quite a lot of resistance lah. Okay, I think the first resistance will be the gap over here. AME, yeah, small shares float. Consider an uptrend actually. Your resistance will be around here, this level, while your support will be around this level lah. Okay, currently it's kind of sideways, touching with the 50 days moving averages as well. Okay, currently it's sideways. High volume came in over here. Okay, but a very small candle only, so you should be a bit cautious. High volume should directly translate to a huge candle lah. Should. So need to be a bit cautious, see where the market wants to bring the counter to lah. Okay, but the support and resistance is as follows lah: 1.45 and 1.56. This one kind of sideways actually for a very long time now. It's currently attempting to build a trend. Okay, it's kind of like deciding lah whether it wants to go up or down. 50 days moving average is already below it. That means it's like a good thing lah. Okay, 150 dive down, and the 200 day is still above. The volume came in after the QR, I assume. Okay, I don't know why, marginally down, but it's up. I didn't read the report. Okay, but there's a high volume here, and subsequently is following through lah. Okay, your resistance will be about this level, which is already challenging, but it failed to break out on the first time, so most likely it will kind of do a pullback. Usually pullbacks will be something like this lah. Okay, this is not a prediction, this is just drawing a pattern. I don't know where the handle will be. So then your support will be somewhere here lah. Okay, WCT. This one is uptrend. Okay, already formed new 52-week high. You can see the resistance quite obvious lah, 0.61 from the past one. Okay, currently it's building stairway step lah, going higher and higher. Okay, you can see lah, the trend line is also quite accurate. So support and resistance I think still stays the same, just that this resistance may now turn into a support, but the support definitely upgraded already lah to about 0.53. Okay, this one may turn into a new support, RTS. Of course, this one is a resistance, okay, at 0.61. Okay. Okay, next is PWRWELL. Also consider uptrend actually. Something like this. No. Okay. It's considered uptrend. Your 50 day is higher than the 150 and 150 higher than the 200 lah. Okay. Your next resistance level will be somewhere here. Okay, 0.28. And your support level will be here, 0.245. Okay. Okay, so the next one, capital A. Capital A is not really following AAX. I think AAX is much more bullish compared to capital A lah. Okay, currently it's below the 50 days moving average, trying to come back up. Still considered as an uptrend actually. 50 is above 150, 150 is above 200, and if you look at it, you will see like this is one base, then it rebounded from the previous resistance level, and if this is another low, then it's actually still forming higher lows along the way lah. Okay, so kind of okay if let's say it's forming higher lows lah. Okay, not really forming higher highs yet, probably consolidating to build another base first. If this low becomes a new base, then yes, it will become a new support level. If not, then there isn't a new support level formed yet lah. Okay, in terms of resistance, I think 0.99 will turn into a new resistance level, because previous support level doesn't seem to be able to support already lah. Okay, kind of broken down already, so we'll have to wait and see which direction capital A takes lah. Okay. Okay, next AVALAND. I think this one is a real estate one. Not really in tandem with the rest. I think this one is a bit low float shares and also not really the kind of hot stocks that people chase after lah. Okay, so if you look at AVALAND, I think this resistance is trying to become a new support. Otherwise, you can see the support is about this level lah. Okay, 0.265, and your resistance level will be here lah. Okay, 0.29. So this one we can change it to about 265 as a support. Okay, and it is going to go sideways again lah. Okay, so what I noticed from this stocks pattern is, you know, after breakout like this, then it will go sideways, and then if it breaks out again, then it will go sideways again lah. Okay, so that's what I realized from the pattern here. Next is MTAG. I think MTAG is about stickers, I think, if I'm not wrong. I can't really remember, but the initial support is at 0.4, then they build a higher support at 425, and then 455 over here lah. Okay, so kind of sideways lah. If you look at it as a further picture, it's kind of like a sideways trend. Okay, you can see it's like just hovering around this zone. So this will be your resistance level. Okay, 0.455 will be your resistance, and your support will be at 0.425 lah. Okay, so other than that, I don't think that's much. Sideways over here, previously here also sideways, then boom up, come back down, you know, very heavy selling. You can see this gap down is bad. I think it's quarter report bad lah, this one. Then sideways, so need to wait and see where the whether the trend arrives or not lah, and where it wants to break. Okay, next stock is YTL. I think YTL is possibly the 2023 winner lah, one of the winners. I think another one should be SMRT, I think. I'm not very sure, I can't remember. But YTL is definitely one of them. The other one will be definitely YTL Power lah. Okay, so if you look at YTL, it has had quite a rally. We consider the first breakout base as the first base. So this is one base, and then come up here, this is like a flat base, so 2, and then another one 3 over here lah. Okay, then here no base along the way, then here another 4. So as usual, the first 3 bases are the best. Then after that, 4th and 5th not so good. 6 and 7 are usually quite faulty lah. Okay, so here you can see this base failed, then come back down. So it's actually hovering around the support of about 1.4, which was the previous support form, and it's already at the 50 days moving average line lah. Okay, so we need to see whether the 50 days moving average is able to hold the stock or not. And if it is, then most likely it can rebound on the 50 days moving average lah. Okay, chart wise actually it's still uptrend, but you see it's currently sideways here. It has not formed a new low, and neither has it formed an actual new high lah. Okay, there's no, after this high over here is like a lower high, and then it came down here and it's lower again. So I think this one need a bit of time to digest. Some stocks actually, if they are still, you know, uptrend, they actually consolidate to wait for the 50 days moving average to catch up to them before they actually continue going higher. Okay, so that may be the case for YTL, and it can also be signs of distribution now, because actually it has gone up quite a lot. Okay, from here to go up until here, it's about 200% already. Okay, it's a lot lah, really a lot. So it depends. You have to continue monitoring first lah. But when it touched the 50 days moving average, it seemed to have been able to rebound from the 50 days moving average. So it's actually a good thing to have. Okay. Okay, TUNEPRO. Actually, TUNEPRO is a bit weird lah. Okay, every time TUNEPRO has a very nice pattern, somehow it doesn't really seem to materialize. Even for here also, it has like multiple cup patterns, you know, then attempt to break out, but in the end failed, you know, next day gap down. Here same thing happened. Okay, you can see it climb up until here, pull back. Okay, it's like going to break out already finally. One cup like this broke out, then get sell down again. So it's a bit weird lah, even though with all the patterns. But if you zoom out and see, it looks like a kind of like an inverse head and shoulders forming lah. I don't know whether it will materialize or not. You see one shoulder over here, the head over here, and the shoulder over here lah. Okay, it's possible. So at the moment, support and resistance remains the same. Okay, this support most likely is going to turn into one resistance lah. Okay, while the support will definitely be about here. Okay, to about this zone of 405. On Thursday, I think the sell down was quite immense, but it's kind of like a washout lah, a heavy washout. You can see there's a very high volume lah here. Okay, wash nicely, then come back up already. So need to see whether it was a washout or it's actually big fund selling and retailers flocking in lah, thinking that it's cheap. I'm not so sure. We have to wait and see what happens to the market. Okay, so the support is definitely here lah, 0.41 level. Okay. Okay, next is YEWLEE. This one base quite obvious at 0.355. Okay, while the resistance is at about 0.38 lah. So actually, since breaking out the previous attempt, you can see this level quite solid lah. This 0.355 level. Why I say so, you see here many times never close below. This one many times attempt to break higher but cannot. This one never able to close above. This one didn't go down, and then this also didn't go down lah. So kind of, you know, never go down, never go up, never break below, never what. It's kind of consolidation sideways trend lah. Okay, so think nothing much change for the support and resistance level. The resistance is still 0.38, and while the support is still 0.355 lah. Okay, unless it decides to break one of them, there isn't really a trend lah. Okay. Okay, next LCTITAN. I think maybe similar to SAMCHEM lah. Okay, they are both chemical specialty, but I don't know what do they specialize in specifically. Okay, so looking at LCTITAN chart doesn't seem to be that good. It seems to be sideways finding a bottom lah. Okay, hit the this level twice, 1.13, and then hit this level 1.11 lah. Okay. Moving averages are not that nice. Okay, 200 is above the 150 and 150 is above the 50 lah. Okay, so not really considered uptrend. Volume is a bit encouraging recently. Okay, if you look at the volume, it's quite encouraging. But we need to see which direction the trend wants to take lah. Okay, because despite the small higher low that it has formed, I don't really see a higher high lah. Okay, I think need quite some time first before it can form higher high. The earnings here I assume is not that good lah, so kind of got washed down quite badly, and it has been hovering around there since lah. Okay, so I think the stock needs a bit of time first to find some base before it can attempt to rally again. I think LCTITAN previously is a very high cost stock. Yeah, 7 ringgit, 6 something. Okay, whether it can come back to its glory days or not, I am not sure. Okay. Okay, next is MYEG. I think MYEG is also inside one of my case study lists. For more information, you can look at it over there lah. Okay, but the support and resistance is about this zone, and it's kind of forming a higher low already lah over here. Okay, this low is higher than this low over here, then this low is also higher. Okay, so a bit nice lah. Okay, that's why I took it as a case study. Okay. CAB, I'm not so sure what CAB does. I think CAB, I heard macam related to egg, I think. Just let me have a look lah. Okay, one of the largest food producers lah. Okay, yeah, it's related to egg also. So poultry, okay, poultry, retail, fast food, and also marine products. So as you know, from the budget 2024. Egg prices will be left floating. Okay, it won't be a fixed price anymore. There won't be subsidy. It will be float. So you see, this is like a obvious downtrend. But you can see volume picked up on Friday lah. Okay, so whether this volume is real or not will depend next week to see whether it's an actual big funds coming in or not lah. If big fund, of course, it will last lah. If it's just retailers, it won't last lah. Okay, so. It's kind of hovering here within this triangle, but the volume on Friday was quite positive lah. Okay, candle close high. Okay, and also volume is also pretty good lah. Okay, so we need to monitor and see what happens next week first. Okay, PWF. Let's see what PWF does first. Also poultry. Okay, I think the person who asked PWF and CAB is looking at poultry stuff lah. But if you look at this, the chart for PWF is not similar to CAB and TEOSENG. Okay, so you need to from here you need to know who may benefit more lah, because I mean I'm not so sure what do they do or what's the difference between all of them, but there should be a difference because of the stock price. Okay, so if there, let's say there really isn't any difference lah, and all of them just sell chicken, sell eggs, okay, then there must be something different with the fundamentals of the company lah. Okay, so looking at this, like I mentioned just now, you know, like in SolarVest, SAMAIDEN, you can see SolarVest definitely leads the renewable energy sector, okay, compared to the rest. So I would assume that's the leader lah. Okay, for this I don't think this is the leader. Okay, the stock is kind of in sideways lah, nothing much to see unless there is a movement lah. Okay, the support is definitely at 0.635, while the resistance is about this zone lah, 0.68. Okay, it's really kind of sideways lah. Okay, but it has also come quite a long way lah since the first breakout. Okay, of about here. This is like the accumulation. This is also sideways. Okay, but this was more like an accumulation time. Then price rocket up until here, so it's kind of sideways now lah. Okay. End to end. I don't know, are you the same person which asked for the stock last week or not to review, but I don't think anything has changed lah. Okay, the volume is still relatively very low. Okay, albeit there is about only 300 million shares float, but you can see volume only comes in after a long time. Okay, you see this high volume, right? This volume is only 1 million, whereas this volume is about 3 million. Okay, even if let's say we consider this as high volume, then there has been no volume this entire time, and then there's high volume here again. I mean, you look at the volume, you know it's not an actively traded counter lah. Okay, but I think my review stands the same. We just take this as the new support lah, and your resistance will be somewhere here lah. Okay, 0.495 is the resistance, 0.44 is the support lah. Okay, next is ceiling. Okay, this one really quite a lot, quite strong. Okay, then the breakout candle here, I think I did mention here was a consolidation. Then you need to decide lah whether wants to go higher or lower. I think this one decided to go higher. Then the breakout volume is quite strong lah. Okay, actually hit at about 0.195, which is the previous resistance, turned into support, and then it continued going higher. Now it's about 0.2215, high of about 0.245 lah. Okay, so I don't think it has formed a new support yet, other than the previous resistance turned into a support, and while the resistance is still at 0.245 lah. Okay, that's for ceiling. I think nothing much has changed. Okay, EG. For the person who asked me for EG's chart, I also included EG into my case studies for the week. I agree. I think EG has quite a lot of potential, but you will need to wait and see whether the chart says, agrees or not lah. Okay. The good thing about the chart is the volume, and all the moving averages are intact lah. Okay, that means the 50 is above 150, 150 is above the 200. Okay. If we look at it from the breakout over here of high volume, then it consolidated down. Okay, then you can see actually this whole consolidation, the volume is quite low lah, except this one, this big hammer over here. So the volume was quite low, and then when it broke out over here, volume not high, but got followed through lah. The volume came in after that, high selling volume over here, and then after that this big candle came over here lah. Okay, so it has reached this high over here, and since then it has been going, it's kind of like going down lah. Okay, but the high volume came in on Friday, and then this is the high selling volume. At the moment, the stock is still showing lower highs and lower lows. You will need to wait until it manages to break above this high lah. Okay, because that's the most recent high that it formed. So once it's able to break above, then you will have something like this lah. Sorry. Okay. Let's say it goes above. Okay, usually stocks will pull back and then it will go higher lah. So you kind of have a trend change over there. Okay, but the volume does look very encouraging. because the breakout volume is high, while the previous days of consolidation and pullback, the volume is pretty low lah. Okay, so quite interesting counter to have, which is why I included inside my watch list lah. Okay. Hey, SCIB. Okay, this was a consolidation period lah, really sideways a lot. And then you can see there's a very obvious resistance is about 0.48 lah. Okay, so it managed to break out from this level 0.48 with quite a good volume. Okay, you can see over here quite good volume. Then subsequently it's trending higher lah. Okay, at the moment I honestly don't think there's much resistance ahead because this stock actually got washed down so badly. I don't think there's much resistance ahead for now. Okay, we can actually check it out how much it has pulled back lah. Okay, from the high to the low is already about what, 95%. Unless someone really wants to hold to 95% losses, then they would hold so long lah. But otherwise, I don't think there will be people still holding after so long. So it is slowly kind of like trending upwards lah. Okay, I mean not trending, turning. It's already in uptrend, then consolidation, and then wants to go up again lah. Okay, so this is your resistance level. I don't think it has really formed a new support level unless you want to consider this one as support lah, 0.485. Okay. Next is Valesto, ONG counter. I think ONG counters are not really star performers lah for now. Let's see came back up lah after the heavy wash. Kind of in sideways lah. And for Valesto, I think it's in sideways as well. Valesto is a very heavy stock. It's heavier than Armada. Okay, it holds 7.53 billion shares float, which means for you for the stock to move up, it requires a lot of volume lah. Okay, for the stock to move up. So this is like a previous sideways. It's quite a huge sideways lah. Okay, but it's kind of like forming smaller cups along the way already. So you can see over here, kind of forming something like this lah. Okay, it's good to monitor and see where it decides to bring itself to. Okay. Okay, and the support and resistance hasn't really changed lah, which is why I say it's kind of like a sideways lah. Okay, the support and resistance is still quite similar, not much difference lah. Okay, whether it goes up or not, it will kind of really depend on whether the ONG, whether the oil prices continue going higher or not. Okay, if oil prices continue going higher, then definitely the oil counters prices will also follow suit lah. Okay, if oil price goes down, then most likely it will come down lah. Okay. Horaza. Generally, it looks quite bad lah. Okay. All moving averages are on top of each other in large to small sequence. It's supposed to be 50, 150, and 200. But this one is 200, 150, then 50. The price is also below the 50 days moving average lah. Okay, doesn't really imply that it's bullish. Okay, and then I think last week when I reviewed it, it's still forming lower lows. Okay, it's like at a new 52-week low, which is not something good to have lah. Okay, so this may turn into a support. Okay. Okay, you see this trend line is not able to break lah. Okay, so it will come down back, pull back, then attempt again, but the volume coming down is not high. And so is the breakout volume, doesn't seem high at all lah. Okay, so we'll need to monitor and see whether it has found the bottom, going to reverse trend or how. Okay. QES, well, QES look quite bad now. Okay, what I don't really like seeing the QS chart is this. You see the down days here has been coupled with higher selling volumes. compared to the up days over here, which has been coupled with quite low buying volume, which is not really healthy lah. It should be the other way around. Okay, so the support and resistance I think still stays the same, nothing has changed. It's kind of finding a base now at the moment. Okay, so we'll need to give some time to the stock lah. Okay, SKP chart. Okay, I think there's a lot of potential in this stock. The up leg previously was quite fierce lah. Okay, kind of rose quite or too aggressively, and subsequently got pulled back lah. Okay, we look at the weekly chart. Actually, last week's candle is not good lah. Okay, this candle is not good, and last week's candle for me doesn't justify anything because it's not really happening on the uptrend or downtrend. It's kind of like a pullback time lah. Okay. So it seems like it's forming coming out of the base and then form one. So it may look something like this lah. Okay, it may I'm not so sure, but it seems to have found some resistance over at 0.775, which was previously this candle's resistance as well lah. Okay, so I think we'll need to give a bit of time. But the good thing to have here is that the selling volume base is much lower compared to the buying volume base. Okay, so it may be just a healthy pullback before another up leg lah. Okay, maybe pullback enough already. We'll need to see what happens next week lah. Okay. Oh, TEVHB, the support broke. I think one of my previous reviews I mentioned TEVHB, this level is very strong. Should not break lah. Okay, so like I mentioned before, if let's say a support is hit on too many times, you know, like you knock the door for too many times, then eventually it breaks. I think the example I used previously is if let's say you use like a tennis ball and you keep hitting on the floor or ceiling, you will eventually break lah. Okay, so ceiling is the resistance and floor is your support. So this one, the support broke already lah, 1.18, and it's now at about 1.11. Doesn't look good. I think it needs to find a base first lah. Okay, before it can actually rally again, it has to find a base first. Okay. This one you can see it kind of moves in a range one lah. Okay. Previously move here, then move this range, move here. Now it's coming back to the second range lah. Okay, so need to wait. Need to give the stock some time to actually find its base. Okay. DPHARMA. I think tech stocks are generally not really in demand at the moment, other than US side. DPHARMA is kind of being resisted by the 50 days moving average. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4 here. Okay, every time also 50 days is resisting it. I don't know whether it has really found bottom or not over here. But if you are looking for a support and resistance, then yes lah, this is the support lah. Okay, and your resistance currently is the 50 days moving average. Until and unless you can break from this level, okay, this resistance level, I don't think it's really considered as a third change in trend lah. Okay, kind of looks still downtrending. Okay. Steel counter. I don't know whether steel counter really benefit from the budget or not. Okay, but looking at HYAPTEC, I don't think anything has changed lah. Okay, seems the same. Support and resistance seems exactly the same lah. Okay, nothing much. So need to give some time to see the market decides where it wants to go lah. Okay, other than that, I don't think there's anything much lah. Okay, recent days volume has been quite low though. Okay. AWANTEC. This one is quite obvious in downtrend lah. I think many times attempted to go higher but never seem to be able to. Okay. It's quite far even from the downtrend line itself. Okay. I can't really say there's a new support because it just formed a new 52-week low already. Okay. But when it attempts to come back up again, this will definitely be the resistance lah. Okay, this level will definitely be a resistance. Okay. Okay, BCH care. Okay. this previous resistance is proving to be quite tough, so it came back down. Okay, pulled back already. Doesn't really seem to be doing well. Okay, break down from the support and then rallied up back again. Then after that broke down again. So this rally looked quite real because of the huge volume. But subsequently it came back down lah. Okay, currently if you ask me, I think it's finding a base. Okay, it's kind of finding a base. So actually, if you wanna look at base is best like this lah. Okay, this is the best. But I realize a lot of people like V. Okay, V I mentioned before I don't really like because there's not so much strong support lah. Okay, there's an ideology behind it, but it's a bit lengthy to explain lah. Okay, so just leave it at that. So it was like this. So if let's say it's really going to go uptrend, I mean now it can be either ways because it's a lower high. Okay, and then this is a higher low. So I mean if this is the new low lah. Okay, so it can be either way. It can be something like this. Okay, or it can be just like this lah. Okay, it can go either way. You need to give some time to let the market dictate lah. Okay. Next will be RGB. I can't remember is this in my case study or not. I think it is. Yeah, I think it is. Okay, but I'll just repeat it briefly here. This one is because of QR release, then MACC news, blah blah blah, all those kind of things. And then after that, subsequently got sold down badly, and I think it has formed a base at about this zone lah, 0.275. You see, it hit 2 times and it didn't really go much lower. There's no close below the support level lah. Okay, so came out to a resistance here, this level, and then after that come back down and form again. So if you ask me, I think it's currently in sideways. Okay, and there's a possibility it was sideways until the MACC investigation completes. Okay, then only you will have a clearer picture lah. Okay, so I think it's still sideways lah. There is not much of a support and resistance change. I think the support and resistance still maintains the same. Okay, next is TEOSENG. Okay. I think I mentioned this in my case study last week. Yeah, that this kind of a good support over here because very low volume. Then Monday it suddenly decided to just rally up like this. Quite a strong rally, 5%. Okay, then the next day pull back, and then the following day rally again. So until it can break the resistance, actually it will be sideways lah. Okay, it will be something like this lah if it doesn't break. Okay, so if you break, you know, it's pulled out like this, maybe it'll go like this lah. Okay, there's a higher possibility for it to be uptrend and for it to be downtrend lah. Okay, okay, TECHBND, I think there's no change. Support and resistance remain the same because it's really just sideways lah. Okay, for me I think there's no change from the previous review. And then the support is at 0.5. The other support is at this level. Okay, volume is drying up, so you need to see lah. But the trend for TECHBND really looks just sideways only. EWIN, still sideways. I don't think it has broken out yet, even though there's a bit higher volume coming in. But I think needs a bit of time to digest this dividend day X date lah. Okay, I think it really needs quite some time. Okay. There is no change in the support and resistance. I think it remains the same, and it will be the same until and unless the stock decides to break one of the support or resistance. SUNVIEW, it's a gastro center, I think. Okay, it actually move around this big triangle lah. Okay, but it's not really breaking out or breaking down. Kind of broke down here, but you know, just maintain above lah. So I think my support and resistance also stays the same, and it looks more like it's going to go sideways or down. I don't really see the momentum changing yet lah. Okay, so it looks kind of like, you know, still going down, hovering down, stuff like that. Okay, so yeah. Charimin ONG counter, not so much strength like hibiscus though. I think hibiscus is a bit more sensitive to the oil prices. This one like not so sensitive lah. Okay, broken down support of 0.87, and is 0.87 is now like a resistance for it lah. Okay, it has to break above first. The new support form is this level lah. Okay, this is the new support level, and it's like forming a base before it attempts to re-challenge the high lah. Okay, Sky World, I think there was huge volume coming in, and then I don't know what happened, it got sold down lah. Okay, IPO stock, I don't think it has formed a first primary base yet, and until that I think it will continue looking for it lah. Okay, the support currently is at this level. Let me just draw it out. Okay, and the resistance will be, it's supposed to be about this level lah. Okay, but seems like, I mean, it managed to, maybe that was how the volume came to push out from the breakout, but didn't manage to close above lah. Okay, M&G. Okay, previously when I reviewed, I think the counter is on an uptrend. Now I don't, it's kind of already at the bottom channel of it lah. Okay, doesn't look that good, albeit the low volume. The support and resistance kind of stays the same lah, still within the range, and if not, it will just continue going sideways lah. Okay, nothing much to review in my opinion. Masing, don't know what Masing is currently, a real estate or construction, or is it a glove company already? Okay, so it's kind of sideways also lah. Okay, within this range. Okay, and unless it breaks out, then there is no destination for it lah. Okay, because it's just sideways, volume coming in, buying in as support, you know, then after that pushing it up, then there's a red candle again. Okay, there isn't really a definite trend over here lah. Okay, KGW, I think this stock is too new to have any past data to do technical analysis. Okay, but with the data there is, this is the support level lah. Okay, and this was obviously the resistance level, attempted to break out but failed. We look at the 1 hourly chart also, I think it's sideways lah at the moment. I don't think there's much to review lah. Okay, Spritzer broke out from the downtrend channel, but then now sideways. This breakout candle is strong, but subsequent candles kind of high volume also lah, even though it's reducing. We'll need to see lah, but this is already at the previous support. Okay, already at previous support, and then this is a resistance level lah, so it may trade sideways again lah. Okay, it may trade sideways again, but this is the support and resistance for you lah. Okay, and the last stock is Hex Industries. Honestly, I don't see any changes in Hex Industries. It seems like it's forming new lows lah. Okay, even this support also broken already, so it's a clear-cut downtrend lah. Okay, it's really downtrend lah. Okay, and I think it will meet with quite a lot of resistance over here, because you know it challenged the support many times. The support will turn into a resistance lah. Okay, so that's all for this week's chart review. This week's chart review is a bit long. I noticed that. I try to give more information when I'm doing video lah. Okay, there's more to explain and stuff like that. Just a disclaimer before we end the video. This entire chart review video is for educational purpose only, and none of it should be considered a buy or sell call. If you require a buy or sell call, please look for your licensed remiser or also your licensed financial advisors lah. Okay, the entire video of chart review is totally for educational purposes only. Okay, so it should not be considered as a buy or sell call at all. Okay, so that'll be the end of the video. I hope it's beneficial for you guys, and I hope each one of you who watched it learned something. Okay, so that'll be all for this week. Okay, good luck in the market next week. So thank you, bye bye.
If you liked this video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more videos.